Hello everyone, welcome to Fimblewolf Gaming. We're here playing Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. We're going to be going through the Evil campaign on hard. So, Battle for Middle-earth 2 is it's a really good game. It was made after the Lord of the Rings movies came out, and it was one of those games that they kind of made because the movie came out, but it actually ended up turning out surprisingly well for one of those games. They do a good job of actually sticking to the lore. The first game follows the movie more closely, but the second game follows the War in the North, which wasn't really covered in the movie, so it covers more of the events of the books. Well, not exactly the books, more like the Silmarillion and stuff like that, the appendices, and extended lore. But it really was one of the surprisingly good games. I'm playing it in HD right now, but it still looked really good even back in the day. If you're interested in playing this game, you can find it through T3A. There are a lot of YouTube videos and tutorials teaching you how to install the game and to play it. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Great family-friendly fun. You can, you and your friends can all get it and enjoy it and just have a blast. So I highly recommend it. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna jump right in and get started. It is one of the better RTS games, in my opinion. I have played a few of the classics, and to me, it holds up really well, and the gameplay is really smooth. And it just brings back nostalgia for the movies, and if you've read the books, it brings back a lot of nostalgia from that as well. So it hit all the right notes. It has a good story, and even after you finish the campaign, you can still get hours and hours of replayability out of it. Again, if you're looking to play it, I recommend getting this through T3A, and probably the best way to start playing the game is through either through T3A or in Game Ranger, and then I would start with the tutorial and then just get used to the gameplay. But today we're just going to walk through the first level of the campaign, and I mean the first level of the campaign, whether you're doing good or evil, it goes out of its way to just kind of walk you through it and make it easier for you. There's going to be some limitations because it's the first level, but it's also going to be a lot easier than some of the later levels. So we're just going to play through the evil campaign, and once we're done with that, we might go through the good campaign as well. And we're just going to get used to the gameplay, get exposed to some of the new factions that didn't exist in Battle for Middle-earth 1, and yeah. Sorry if you wanted to hear that and I was talking over it. I don't want to get copyright struck. YouTube can be really finicky about that, so.
Today, that will end. We must build an army before we raid.
Alright, so I'm going to start off and I'm just going to build a couple of caves. Now these are your unit producing buildings for the Goblins. There are a few unit producing buildings. Caves will produce the majority of your infantry for the Goblins. Let's also go ahead and move these heroes down to the southern side of the map. There will be an alpha attack coming from that way, and so it's just good to be ready for it. So yeah, you can go ahead, you can build soldiers and archers. Oh, okay, the newest objective is not loaded yet. Oh, and I guess I triggered the elves. Great, okay. So yeah, we'll just kill these off. I'm going to go ahead and buy Scavenger. That allows me to earn resources from kills. Your ring power points will dramatically help your gameplay. They're just little things that can make a big difference in the heat of the moment. Okay, yeah, so we went ahead and we can train soldiers and archers from the cave, so I went ahead and did that and got a couple of each. As soon as it lets me, I'm going to go ahead and build tunnels as well. Tunnels build resources, and in these games, or they gather resources, and in these games, resources are what is going to win the battle for you. Your troops will help, but you know, your troops are going to die, and the only way you're going to be able to keep up the computer long term is by having a booming economy. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. It's not something you have to worry about with this level. This is one of the easier ones, so don't worry too much about it for this first one. But I'll go ahead and build a couple just so that that I can get my economy off the ground. And I'll build these. Oh, I guess I don't really need them. I'll put a builder in the tunnel. I was going to put some of those troops in the tunnel just to show how it works and to get rid of an objective, but you can do the same thing with the builder. You just left-click on the builder and right-click so that he will path into the tunnel. And basically all the tunnels are networked, so you can only do up to 5 at a time, but any tunnel you have has access to every other tunnel, so you can put the goblins in one tunnel and teleport them to the other side of the map through another tunnel, and it's really useful. Not all factions can do that. I think the dwarves are the only other ones that can do that. And it actually, you know, it doesn't get used all the time, but sometimes it's really useful. And it's a great place to keep your builders safe. You don't have to worry about the enemy coming in and destroying wherever you stored your builders and killing your builders, because you can just deploy them in another spot.
And cast down their beloved homes and trees.
Okay, so these are fissures, and basically these fissures, they spawn your siege units. Now, you can also train pikemen for them later on, pikemen from them later on, but they are predominantly used for training siege units. In the original 1.0, you had to upgrade these to get trolls, but I'm playing in 1.06, so I could just train them right away, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure the fissures get upgraded. Trolls are not the strongest siege that goblins have, but they're cheap and they're definitely good against infantry. So definitely worth the investment, especially early game. Yeah, let's go ahead and destroy these tree houses too. A lot of times you can kind of leave your army for a bit and go back and manage your base. You'll probably have to get used to doing that, honestly, the more you play these games. Just because you can't focus in on one thing for too long, or you will take serious losses wherever you're not focusing. Wonderful place for a cutscene, thank you guys. But we should have our cave trolls in a second, and we should have some goblin warriors and archers, so we should be good to march on the elves.
The cave trolls are ready.
Alright. Come on, guys.
We must defend our fortress if our conquest is to succeed. Select the build plot surrounding our fortress and construct several defensive upgrades.
It's not letting me do it yet. Okay, so basically your fortress is also a really strong defensive structure, and you can upgrade it with other things. So right now the only things we have unlocked are arrow towers and spider layers, which basically release miniature spiders to go and attack attacking units. So, you know, if somebody goes to attack your fortress, the spiders will defend the fortress and attack the invaders. You can also unlock mountain giants and tunnel expansion for the goblins. So basically, the tunnel expansion hooks your fortress up to your tunnel network, which can be really useful. And then the giant expansion is basically like putting, well, mountain giants on your fortress. So they'll stand there, they won't count against your command points, and they will just throw giant boulders at whoever approaches the castle. I tend to prefer those, but we don't have those, so I'm just doing a bit of each. You get really used to using shortcuts, so I used, I think it's D and P, respectively, for the arrow towers and the dens. Or the spider layers. Basically, it just allows you to build them faster. You get used to using some shortcuts. So two of the more common ones, for example, are Q. Q selects all of your units, and O, which selects all of your heroes. You guys will get used to those the more you play this game. And then A, F, and... G, F, and D switch your unit stances, which just kind of slightly buffs your units in one area or another. So right now they're set to aggressive, so they're doing a little bit more damage than somebody set in neutral or defensive, but they have a little bit less health too. And it's the same for neutral and defensive stances, but you know, one is neutral and the other buffs your defense. Let's go ahead and get bats. This is another power that you have access to as goblins, and it allows you to scout out, but it also allows you to debuff units, which is why I'm getting it, because debuffing units can be as good as buffing your own units a lot of times. Yeah, you get used to the shortcuts though. You can also make armies, so you may have noticed that my guys have one, like little ones above them when I select them. That's because I hit Control and then the number 1 at the same time on my keyboard, and it turned them into an army. And I can basically go wherever I want on the map and just double tap 1, and it'll automatically bring me back to my army. So that's probably another shortcut worth remembering. And I'll go over these again. You'll get used to them. But the big thing is just kind of, this level is just for kind of getting comfortable with some of the commands, getting comfortable, or not commands, some of the, some of the shortcuts, getting used to the gameplay, and seeing what you can do. Let's go ahead and kill this guy, he's annoying. Can I train him back? Ah, I don't have enough command points. You do have a limited number of command points, it varies from level to level. You can increase it up to the max for that level with tunnels. If I had more command points, I would just revive him immediately. I'll probably revive him as soon as I have the spare command points, but it takes 40 for the Nazgul, and right now I have 36 available, so we'll just have to wait. Yeah, screw you elves, nobody likes you. That's not true. People love elves. Elves are great. They're one of the more overpowered factions in this game. Their walls aren't great, but they hit like a truck. Their units are so good. Alright, so basically we have a bonus objective. Those bigger giants that you see walking around, those are mountain giants. And we have an objective to free 3 of them on this map. They are your heavy-duty siege for goblins. They cost more money and more command points, but they are really useful. And we're just trying to free a 3rd one. Also, so you just saw me use the Mouth of Sauron's laser beam power. Basically, as you level up your heroes, they can level up to level 10. And as you level them up, they gain more damage, more health, and sometimes they get new abilities. And those abilities can kind of like change the course of the battle, or at least give you a slight edge, depending on how powerful they are. So like the Nazguls, when they're level 4, they get access to a couple of powers. One of them is Dread Visage, and that basically debuffs the enemy. It makes them weaker, it makes them attack less hard, which is all really good news for you. So that's what we're trying to do with that. And then the Mouth of Sauron can do the same thing, but instead of being a passive thing that activates whenever he's nearby, he has an active debuff that he uses on the enemy. Alright, let's go ahead and get this 3rd giant, and then let's go ahead and win this level. Kill off Lothlorien elves. Also, go ahead and get War Chant. So War Chant just buffs your guys, makes them hit harder for a little bit. It doesn't affect trolls or mountain giants or heroes, but it does affect your normal troops. Yeah, so if he'll use it, yeah, that's his debuff. If you have an active power, a lot of times you can right-click them and your heroes will use them automatically whenever they have the chance. Which is really good because a lot of times you don't have time to micromanage and you just want them to use it whenever they can. Sometimes you want to be able to use it in a specific situation, so you may not always right-click on it, but I tend to use it more often than not. Alright, so we don't have the Mouth of Sauron, but we have most of our heroes, and we've got a decent-sized army, so let's go ahead and take down the elves. That is our last thing, right? Yeah, let's just destroy the fortress, the Elven Fortress.
Thou shalt feel my wrath, foul minions of Sauron. By the light of Elbereth, you will perish.
So much better than Rings of Power. Like, trust me, just forget Amazon, play this game, you'll be way happier. You'll get your Lord of the Rings fix. Oof. Don't worry about your Nazguls dying. They are really weak. They die a lot. I mean, to be fair, I did just hit them with a ton of rocks from my mountain giants, and like one of those would kill me, but like, yeah, they just die a lot, so don't worry about losing them. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. He is being obnoxious. Let's debuff those. Not that they really need it. One hit from those mountain giants will kill it, but, you know, it makes me feel better. Also, you can switch your giants and your trolls to melee attacks. In my opinion, it doesn't really do that much. It's not as useful. But it is a faster attack, and it's certainly good if you're close range. There's only so much you can do against a hero with your mountain giants, though, because heroes tend to just shred mountain giants and trolls. How are you still alive? I thought you died. Nope. Let's stomp on this guy. Hit him in the face. Yeah.
Flee and warn the others.
Why is she not leaving?
How tragic.
I think it's because I'm not in the middle of the fray. I think if I attack her a little bit, she'll run away. She doesn't die in this level.
You know what to do.
I mean, I don't have to kill her to win. I just have to destroy the fortress. So even if she doesn't die, I'm just gonna attack the fortress. Please don't kill my giant. I want him to live. Right, come on, quick, quick, quick. Oh, thank goodness, she's leaving. Alright. Let's take out that
The
tower.
Elf Queen has escaped. No matter.
Alright, let's see, what else should I go over? This is the first level, so it's just for learning things. You can attack move by hitting A and then right-clicking. And they'll just attack anything between them and that point. Which can be really useful. Not always your best option, but sometimes it works out for you. Wow, you guys are slacking. That is one thing about goblins. They're very weak, but they have poison blades to make up for it, which helps them out early game. Late game, you want to switch to some tougher units, maybe some spider riders, half trolls, mountain giants. But the goblins, their units are very weak, but they're spammable, so you can get a lot of them for cheap. And the poison does slow damage over time, which can be useful. So there's advantages, there's disadvantages. People have complained about the game not being balanced. I think it's I think they're complaining over nothing, because like people say, oh, it's not balanced, and they'll say, oh, this one faction is way overpowered, and then they'll go, no, 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 it's this other one that's way overpowered. And it's a really well balanced game. It's a lot of fun. There are some matchups that are going to be harder than others, but overall, it's comes down to who's the better player. And that is that. So we went ahead and we've beaten the first level. I'll probably do it for this video. We'll come back for the second one and cover the second level of the campaign. Yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like what you see. It is free and it helps out a lot. And you know, once we're through this campaign, let me know and we'll see about what you guys want to do next.
Now spread to all of the northern lands.